Guess who made a surprise appearance at the White House's Oval Room on Tuesday? Billionaire Elon Musk stood next to the Resolute desk, took media questions, and underscored his influence on the U.S. president. The Department of Government Efficiency that Musk heads has got a big nod from Trump. The U.S. president's executive order that Trump signed gives the Doge unprecedented powers and authority to shrink the workforce. Large-scale staff cuts are given the green signal. Hiring will be limited to only essential positions. Heads of government agencies are instructed to comply. Reacting to charges of being unelected himself, Musk described federal workers as an unconstitutional branch of government that has more powers than any elected representative. He has denied leading a hostile takeover and defends cost-cutting plans.
What I really want to say is, it's not optional for us to reduce the federal expenses. It's essential. It's essential for America to remain solvent as a country, and it's essential for America to have the resources necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply be servicing vast amounts of debt.
Reports say Doge employees, many of whom have no government experience, have been going through data systems. Many DEI programs have already been shut down. There's been a strong legal pushback. A court issued an emergency order preventing Doge from accessing personal data. The First Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals denied a motion from the Trump administration overturning release of federal grants. Trump has warned that judges who ruled against Doge efforts would have to be scrutinized.
If a judge does block one of your policies, part of your agenda, will you abide by that ruling? Will you comply?
Well, I always abide by the courts, and then I'll have to appeal it. But then what he's done is he slowed down the momentum, and it gives crooked people more time to cover up the books.
On Truth Social, Trump lashed out, alleging massive fraud and waste and even abuse uncovered. He puns activists and judges that block his government's road, saying losing momentum will be detrimental to finding the truth. Much left to find. No excuses, he added. Critics of Musk's Doge have pointed to potential conflicts of interests given Musk's many business interests. Democrats have accused Musk of personally benefiting from some of the changes that the Trump administration is trying to push through. Garland Nixon is a political analyst and radio show host. He is now joining us live from the U.S. state of Maryland. Mr. Nixon, welcome to Race to Power. Images of Elon Musk, President Trump, and Musk's son, X, are going viral. We could see both Musk and the son playing and even joking while he was talking about serious matters. What kind of perception did that create, do you think?
Well, I think part of that was an attempt to humanize Elon Musk. He's, obviously, as far as we know, the richest man in the world. He's in charge of cutting the federal budget, certainly in this instance. It's pretty well understood that the United States has very significant budget problems. However, the options of reducing spending could be, number one, cutting back on the war spending. Number two, cutting back on the significant tax cuts for billionaires such as Elon Musk. Or number three, which seems to be the option, laying off working class people and cutting programs for the poor. So it appears that, as was, to be quite frank, there's an economist named Dr. Jack Rasmus who wrote a book called The Scourge of Neoliberalism, who predicted that this is exactly what would happen, that as the spending of the government got out of control, rather than cut back on the $30 trillion in overspending that has been given through either tax cuts to the rich or war spending over the last 30 years, that the working class people would be forced to take an economic haircut, and we see layoffs for working class people and cuts for spending for the poor in the immediate future.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Nixon, will Elon Musk be able to cut $2 trillion from U.S. government spending? And with that being said, we have seen him target education, treasury, and now defense departments. What other departments could he be targeting next, or could be under his radar?
Well, I can guarantee you this, that Elon Musk has massive contracts with the U.S. government, Department of Defense, and with space. So the likelihood of either of those being cut is just about zero. They will be the departments that see the lowest cuts. And therein lies the contradiction that will infuriate Americans, infuriate a lot of working people, in that all of the cuts are going to come from the departments that don't actually spend money on Elon Musk's corporations, such as SpaceX and Starlink, et cetera. So we're going to see education, most likely the various programs for the poor, such as food programs, Social Security for seniors, et cetera. The cuts will be for the most vulnerable, and people such as Elon Musk and the wealthy will see little, if any, problems with their government income.
Mr. Garland, Nixon, it's always good to see you. Thank you for talking to us today, and thank you for all your insights.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.